The angklung is a musical instrument from Indonesia made of 2 to 4 bamboo tubes attached to a bamboo frame. The tubes are carved to have a resonant pitch when struck and are tuned to octaves. The base of the frame is held in one hand, whilst the other hand strikes the instrument. This causes a repeating note to sound. Each of 3 or more performers in an angklung ensemble play just one note or more, but altogether complete melodies are produced. The angklung is popular throughout Southeast Asia, but it originated in what is now West Java and Banten provinces in Indonesia, and has been played by the Sundanese for many centuries. Angklung and its music has become the cultural identity of Sundanese communities in West Java and Banten. Playing angklung as an orchestra requires cooperation and coordination, and is believed promotes the values of teamwork, mutual respect and social harmony. On November 18, 2010, UNESCO officially recognized Indonesian angklung as a masterpiece of oral and intangible heritage of humanity, and encouraged Indonesian people and government to safeguard, transmit, promote performances and to encourage the craftsmanship of angklung making. Etymology: the word angklung was originated from Sundanese angklung angklungan, that means the movement of angklung player and the sound klung that comes from the instrument. Another theory suggested that the word angklung was formed from 2 Balinese words anchor and lung. Anchor means tone, and lung means broken, or lost. Angklung thus means an incomplete tone. History: according to Dr. Groneman, angklung had already been a favorite musical instrument of the entire archipelago even before the Hindu era. According to Jayap Kunst and Music in Java, besides West Java, angklung also exists in South Sumatra and Kalimantan. Lampung, East Java and Central Java are also familiar with the instrument. In the Hindu period and the time of the Kingdom of Sunda, the angklung played an important role in ceremonies. The angklung was played to honor Dewi Shri, the goddess of fertility, so she would bless their land and lives. The angklung also signaled the time for prayers, and was said to have been played since the 7th century in Kingdom of Sunda. In the Kingdom of Sunda, it provided martial music during the Battle of Bibat, as told in the Kidung Sunda. The oldest surviving angklung is 400 years old angklung Gubrag. It was made in the 17th century in Jadzinga, Bogor. Other antique angklung are stored in the Sri Baduga Museum, Bandung. The oldest angklung tradition is called Angklung Bayon from Lebak Regency. Banten angklung bayon is an ancient type of angklung played by Baduy people of inland Banten province during Serentown harvest ceremony. In 1938, Daeng Suasana, Sutna, from Bandung, created an angklung that is based on the diatonic scale instead of the traditional par copyright log or slack copyright NDRO scales. Since then, the angklung has returned to popularity and is used for education and entertainment, and may even accompany Western instruments in an orchestra. One of the first performances of angklung in an orchestra was in 1955 during the Bandung Conference. In 1966 Sujon Galagina, a student of Daeng Suasana, opened his Sawn angklung as a center for its preservation and development. UNESCO designated the angklung a masterpiece of oral and intangible heritage of humanity on November 18, 2010. Balinese gamelan angklung, in Bali, an ensemble of angklung is called gamelan angklung. While the ensemble gets its name from the bamboo shakers, most modern compositions for gamelan angklung do not use them. An ensemble of mostly bronze metallophones is used instead, generally with about 20 musicians. While the instrumentation of gamelan angklung is similar to gamelan gongkabur, there are several critical differences. The instruments in angklung are tuned to a 5-tone slendro scale, although most ensembles use a 4-tone mode of the 5-tone scale played on instruments with 4 keys. An exception is the 5-tone angklung from the north of Bali. In 4-tone angklung groups, the flute players will occasionally use an implied 5th tone. Additionally, whereas many of the instruments in gongkabur span multiple octaves of its pentatonic scale, most gamelan angklung instruments only contain 1 octave, although some 5-tone ensembles have roughly an octave and a half. The instruments are considerably smaller than those of the gongkabur. Gamelan angklung is heard in Balinese temples, where it supplies musical accompaniment to temple anniversaries. It is also characteristic of rituals related to death, and therefore connected in Balinese culture to the invisible spiritual realm and transitions from life to death and beyond. Because of its portability, gamelan angklung may be carried in processions while a funeral bier is carried from temporary burial in a cemetery to the cremation site. The musicians also often play music to accompany the cremation ceremony. Thus, many Balinese listeners associate angklung music with strong emotions evoking a combination of sacred sweetness and sadness. The structure of the music is similar to gong kabur, although employing a four-tone scale. Jublag and jagog carry the basic melody, which is elaborated by gangsa, riong, seng-seng, drum, and flute. A medium-sized gong, called kempur, is generally used to punctuate a piece's major sections. Most older compositions do not employ gong kabur's more ostentatious virtuosity and showmanship. Recently, many Balinese composers have created kabur-style works for gamelan angklung or have rearranged kabur melodies to fit the angklung's more restricted four-tone scale. These new pieces often feature dance, so the gamelan angklung is augmented with more gongs and heavier gongs. Additionally, some modern composers have created experimental instrumental pieces for the gamelan angklung. Outside Indonesia, the angklung was first invented in West Java, Indonesia. With a possibility of cultural transmittance to various other places such as Malaysia and the Philippines over the course of several centuries. In the early 20th century during the time of Dutch East Indies, the angklung was adopted in Thailand, where it is called angklung. It was recorded that angklung was brought to Siam in 1908 by Luang Pradit Pyro, royal musician in the entourage of HRH Field Marshal Prince Bainringsi Savangwongs of Siam, who paid a royal visit to Java that year. The Thai angklung are typically tuned in the Thai tuning system of 7 equidistant steps per octave, and each angklung has 3 bamboo tubes tuned in 3 separate octaves rather than 2, as is typical in Indonesia. In 2008, there was a grand celebration in the Thai Traditional Music Circle, to mark the 100th anniversary of the introduction of angklung to Thailand. Both the Thai and Indonesian governments supported a celebration. Angklung has also been adopted by its Austronesian-speaking neighbors, in particular by Malaysia and the Philippines, where they are played as part of bamboo xylophone orchestras. Formally introduced into Malaysia sometime after the end of the confrontation, angklung found immediate popularity. They are generally played using a pentatonic scale similar to the Indonesian slendro, although in the Philippines, sets also come in the diatonic and minor scales used to perform various Spanish-influenced folk music in addition to native songs in pentatonic. At least one Sundanese angklung buncis ensemble exists in the United States. Angklung buncis Sukarejo is an ensemble at the Evergreen State College, and includes 18 double rattles and 4 dog-dog drums. World record, on July 9, 2011, 5,182 people from many nations played angklung together in Washington, D.C. and are listed in the Guinness Book of Records as the largest angklung ensemble. See also, Kallang, Bell Choir. References. Further reading, Tenzer, Michael. Balinese music. Hong Kong, Periplus eds. External links, Gamelan Sekerjara from Michael Tenzer's book Balinese Music, musical sample composed by Anyoman Windar, Sorn Angklung Angklung Orchestra Hamburg, Germany, Angklung Web Institute, Lancaster Angklung Orchestra, Lancaster, UK, Angklung Hamburg, Kailaga Paduan Angklung SMA Nediri 3 Bandung.